Here with Derri from the choir. I was just talking to Steve this morning about the record, and we were talking how it was when you went into the studio this time, you were thinking about the fans sort of fairly much when you wrote it. Would you say that was a fair analysis of what you did?
Yeah, I think we had three of them in mind.
Right, which three particularly?
We were. Over the years, we've had a pretty loyal audience, and we felt like we really wanted to go in and do a record that was for them this time, as opposed to being a little more self-indulgent, which is kind of what we are a lot of times.
Obviously you guys have been around a long time, very much the sort of the mainstay of alternate rock in terms of Christian music at least. What was the intention of the band when you started? What did you hope would happen with it when you started? Why did you start the band?
I had bands ever since I was in junior high, right. So it was just, I always wanted to do music, always wanted to play music, and it was just something that came naturally. And when I met Steve, we hit it off pretty well, and Tim and I.
You were largely brought up in a Christian home, is that right? How do you think that? I mean, for people who are brought up in a Christian home, it's often difficult to find your own sort of personal faith. How did you come to that? How did you come to sort of your own personal faith?
Well, I was pretty fortunate. My father's a preacher, so I'm a preacher's kid, obviously. But he wasn't as rigid as a lot of other preachers of friends of mine that I knew, and he allowed me, like I said, to have bands ever since I was a kid, and he was really accepting of rock and roll, and the first song I ever played in church was "Smoke on the Water," so on a Sunday morning. So I mean, it was like he was pretty cool about it.
That's fairly supportive then.
So that's the main reason, because I have a lot of friends who were preachers' kids who are completely, anti-God at this point in their life. And I think a lot of it was to do with just the rigidness of their parents and things like that. But I think that I'm probably I owe my faith as much to my father and mother as anybody else.
So what are the things when you went into this record that were inspiring you musically in the surrounding? What were you listening to when you went in to make Free Flying Soul? What sort of things?
Musically for me at that time, I was really into this band American Music Club, which is they're no longer a band anymore. Some other bands, some more moody things. We wanted to do the things that I like best are the more ambient kind of moody pieces, and we had gotten away from that on Kissers and Killers and Speckled Bird. That was a different statement and a different feeling. So we felt like Circle Slide was still one of our strongest records, and we wanted to get back to something that had that feel to it. So this record was definitely, there was an effort there to be a little more of what we felt like we do best, which is the moodier side.
Steve has said that he's very influenced what he writes lyrically as to what you play. Where do you come up with are those progressions? Do you feel like they were? I mean, this record being very hopeful and very warm, and like you said, very ambient. Do you come up with those sounds knowing that then Steve will write something ambient from that he will then do something?
Well, I just come up with things that I like.
Right.
I like fooling around with sound. That's the thing I like doing the best, is I like just sitting with my guitar and plugging in effects and getting sounds. And technically, I'm not that really good guitar player, so I'm reliant upon plugging in stuff and making. Okay. And I just go for what I hear in my head.
And we often talk about Steve as the lyric writer for the band, but he's also the drummer.
Right.
How do you feel about Steve's drumming?
Oh, he's great. It's a whole different. I've never met anybody that really drums quite like he does. I mean, it's a whole different thing, and he's really into it. He's the guy that really arranges the music, and he's really, really into the whole. It's funny because Steve is a great lyricist, and so he kind of gets pegged as that, but it's a way more than that.